welcome back. Our guest is hilarious. You're going to love him. I already love him. He's precious.
I do too.
He is everything us women want in a man.
You better believe it.
He really, really is.
You better believe that.
So he had no idea that I was going there first, so he's already turning red.
Yes.
But his name is Bob Fraumann.
Yes.
I already got that correct.
Which
I know.
means-
Well, that Jasper it means ladies' man or mama's boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to find out which.
We love
But he
Bob.
wrote a really cool book, and it's a tribute to his
Yes.
wife and his wife's life, and it's called God's Blessed Angel.
I can't put it down.
I know, and it's just precious, and the book inside, it just reads like a diary of her life.
Yes.
And you did such a good job with the book. Number one, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
And it's good to have you, and you are a blessing, and it's an honor to sit here and talk to you, because
Yes,
I'm telling
amen.
you, I'm like, you were so cool because of what you did for your wife. Now tell us about you first, because you have a lot of accolades and your resume is lengthy, and you are the minister of music of Mount Zion Methodist Church. I said Baptist earlier, Lord have mercy, but no, we're not going to go there. But Methodist Church. But you have a lot of other stuff that you did prior. Tell us about your career and how you got started in music.
Started in music when I was at Asbury College, and started traveling in an evangelistic team of 2 other teenage young men and myself.
Wow.
We traveled all over the United States. We held 50 revivals in 25 states, traveled 40,000 miles, and saw 625 people make decisions for Christ
Wow.
as teenagers.
Wow. And do you have no idea how many now? Do you
No.
have any idea? So those are crowns in heaven
Yes,
that you're
that's
waiting
how
on.
we started off in college in
Amazing.
1954.
Amazing. So
Yes.
tell me about your wife and when you met her and how this love story began, because the love story is really cool.
Yes, well, she had polio when she was 12. She lived in Columbus, Georgia, and there was no cure for polio then. And she overheard the doctors in the hallway at nighttime while she was in isolation tell her parents, your daughter will never be normal. Her whole left side is paralyzed. We're thinking about putting her in an iron lung. She'll never be able to have children. She'll never lead a normal life.
Now explain what an iron lung is.
It's something to help you breathe, I believe.
It was a big, looked like a tube, long tube, and you laid it flat on your back, and it breathed for you, and it had a mirror so you could see yourself and see people that came up.
So it was very debilitating.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
you
Yeah,
could
there
get
was-
out.
Now
Yeah.
imagine a 12-year-old girl hearing
Yeah,
this at
bedridden.
nighttime, bedridden, and then her parents and the doctors left. So she was left there alone.
Wow.
And she prayed that God would heal her.
At 12.
And I have it on the front of the book here. If I promised God if he would heal me from polio, I would serve him all my life. He did.
I did.
And I did. For 62 years.
Yeah.
Here's my story. So I was at age 12, and God did heal her completely from polio. All the muscles came back. It took several months for that to happen. During that time, they put her in a private school where they could progress her as fast as she learned. So she took 10th, 11th, and 12th grades in 1 year.
She was a smart cookie. She
Yes,
was brilliant.
she was.
Yes.
So she graduated from high school when she was 15.
Wow.
Went to Asbury College in Kentucky when she was 16, and that's where I met her. 17, we were engaged. 18, we got married. And at 19, she was teaching 5th grade public school, putting me through graduate school at Westminster Choir College in Princeton.
And she worked, and I know. But one of the unfortunate things about having her condition and things was that she was unable to have children. Is that correct?
She did have children.
I know she did, and that was your next miracle.
Yeah.
So that was a miracle to me, because who can
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
Not with
2
iron lung.
boys.
Yeah.
God healed her. There wasn't a vaccine ready for polio at that point.
But didn't you
Yes.
see that as a miracle too?
Oh,
that she
absolutely.
gave you children?
Yes, absolutely. We have 2 boys.
Did she ever doubt it?
No.
She never
No,
doubted it.
never doubted it.
She knew it.
No, she knew it exactly.
Well, when you're talking about hearing that kind of news at 12 years old, do you know how resilient a 12-year-old is, and how, sometimes I think I even underestimate the teenagers and people of that age, because you don't know the resilience that they have.
She had a
and
strong
determination.
faith that she really learned from her grandparents.
Yes.
Her grandparents were very, very strong, faithful Christians. And they had a huge impact on her life.
Yeah, she's
And
probably prayed
that's
over.
where the book starts.
That's
At
amazing.
polio, and she tells about that.
Well, I love it. I love the fact that in your book you talk about so many things. You show beautiful pictures of her when she was 18, when she was a bride, beautiful bride.
Absolutely.
She even gives her dating philosophy on there. Can you explain that?
Her recommendations,
Right.
her list.
She wrote a list of she wrote a list of 30 qualifications, which I was not aware of at the time.
But you were qualified, right? Did you
yes.
meet all the criteria?
Okay, she'd already been proposed
She
to
was
twice.
proposed to
hadn't she, Bob?
3 times before me.
Oh, so you were the
So
one. Yes.
somehow I made the
You made
list.
the- yes,
I made
you
the
did.
list.
And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that list works because I did the same thing.
Yes.
I was like, I wrote down every specific detail of what I wanted my husband to be. And I was like, Lord, I don't see him anywhere, so if you have to make him out of the bush,
That's what I
then
said too.
you then make him because I
Him,
didn't
and
see
he
it.
did.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But that list, I read that list. Brother, you had some qualifications.
I did,
Because that
and
was a tough list.
I did not know it existed at the time, or I probably would have never asked her for a date.
That was tough.
But I put it in the book here as a guideline for teenagers, especially. And all of you listening out there, you have teenagers in your family, grandchildren, or whoever it may be. Everybody needs to have a list. This is the second most important decision you'll ever make in your life. Who are you going to live with?
Yes.
That's right.
And the most, the most important decision is your decision for Christ.
Right.
But it reminds me of that story about the girl who was wearing her wedding ring on her index finger. And a guy came up and he said, "Is that your wedding ring?" And she said, "Yeah." He said, "It's on the wrong finger." She said, "Married the wrong guy."
He didn't meet the list that she'd make a list, evidently.
Yeah, but your marriage could be a hell on earth or a heaven on earth.
Yes,
it can.
And it's so important. And I hope people will take this list and revise it to fit their needs.
Well, you
But
know-
have a list to know
Yeah.
that it's a God thing.
But you know what, Bob? If they just read this book, it is so filled with love.
It's a good love
It's so-
story.
it's I can't explain it. And you know what? He's even got a QR in here so that you can take your smartphone and do this, and it'll show her singing.
There's
and
10 QRs in there that you can
10
click
of
on,
them.
or you can go to the web address and pick up the same thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
It shows
That's so
Jan
cool.
singing. It shows her giving her testimony about her conversion. People who spoke at her celebration service of our family. They're all in there. It's scripted in the book, plus you can watch her on the screen.
You must have loved her to infinity and beyond.
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
just amazed.
We made God the primary focus of our whole life from dating. We prayed during dates.
Oh my goodness!
declare
Wow.
And-
That's what Leon and I
Yeah,
did.
and what I
prayed.
try to show in the book is I showed letters in here that she wrote
They're beautiful.
early on while
Beautiful.
we were dating, and 50 years later after we were married, that carry the same theme of God being the center of our life. And if you make God the center of your life,
Yes.
you'll have a wonderful marriage
wonderful
and a wonderful life.
Yes,
and
you
that's what I
will.
tried to put across in here, because when I was traveling all that time, we wrote love letters every day.
Oh.
And I have over 200 letters at home, and I took excerpts from a lot of those letters and put them in the book here.
Well, I'm telling you, I've read some of them, and I almost started crying. When y'all know me, I cry. But if you could see the pictures that he has put in here,
There's 60
of Jan,
pictures in the book.
And because I like a book that shows me something. I'm very visual,
Right.
and I love the pictures that you have put in here. I mean, from 1956, isn't
Yes.
it? All the way up with you and Jan. And I'm thinking, I hope my husband loves me one half the much that Bob loved Jan.
It was wonderful. She passed away 14 months ago, and it's really been an adjustment for me. But I have all good memories.
Yes.
How are your children doing?
They're doing pretty well with it as well. They live out of town, Texas and Ohio, and we stay close. I still keep working at the church. I'm a minister of music there. I teach privately. And I'm doing book signings with this. And at a book signing, I tell the story, and I play the piano for the folks who are there, play favorite songs for them. and have Jan on the screen through the QRs, and then do the book signings. So I'm available to do that. One of the things that I found out after she passed away, and this is such an important part of what I've written here, are conversations with God.
Oh, yes.
I found where she had 300 pages over 16 years of personal conversations with God, just like I'm talking with you gals.
Right.
One of them went like this: Jan, I'm so glad you got up this morning at 4 o'clock, which is when most of this happened when I was sleeping. I'm so glad you got up at 4 o'clock so that we could spend time together. I have been looking forward to this. That's God speaking. Now, Jan, yesterday when we were talking, you promised me that you would spend 2 hours in prayer, and you didn't do it. Why? And she comes back and says, well, God, I'm sorry, but I was busy, and Bob needed me.
Oh, it's your fault.
And then God comes back and says, well, who's more important? God,
Ouch.
Bob, or me? Who's more important?
She answered?
Yeah.
Did she answer?
Yeah, she answered. But I have conversations like that in the book here, just to show. And that's what made Jan stand out so much among people, is she had this personal relationship with the Lord. She spent
really
hours and hours in prayer. And when you were with her, it was a Bible study, or if it was like this, just a conversation back and forth with a few folks, it was like people put blinders on
That's
and
so
just
cool.
zeroed in on her.
Well, let's
and
put
they were like a sponge trying to just absorb anything she had to say, because it was like from God. I mean, it was.
Well, let's put a face with her name. I want to meet Jan. We've got a really cool clip we're going to show real quick.
Okay.
So I want to see Jan and see what she looks like and see how she was. So let's go to this
Now,
real
these
quick.
are pictures of her back in college days up until now, but she's singing her signature song, Prayer.
Love it.
Prayer. Oh, I love it.
Prayer is a song we all can sing, a light that the blind can see. Prayer is a gift the poor can bring, however poor they be. Prayer is a star that lights the way for those who are in despair. And when your heart kneels down to pray, God will hear your prayer. Prayer is a gift the poor can bring, however poor they be. Prayer is a star that lights the way for those who are in despair. And when your heart kneels down to pray, God will hear your prayer.
Hey, and welcome back. Those of you that have been watching us for a pretty good period of time knows that when you see Sherry scoot a little bit closer on the right and get in the front, you know that you better move and let her just take over, because Sherry's got something to say. So I'm just gonna sit back. She's getting too close because I know what's gonna.
I'm gonna get closer.
Take it away,
Okay,
Sherry.
what I wanted to say is Bob and Jan are an example of having a Christian marriage, of knowing Jesus Christ as your Savior. 56 years, right,
Yes.
Bob, being married. How many people can say 2, 3, 4, 5 years now, much less 56
Right.
years? But it's because they had Jesus Christ as the head of their home. And I want to just read you one thing that Jan wrote. And it says this is her letter. The letter was in place of a Valentine's card since Jan was at home recovering from amputation surgery. My darling Bob, today you're having your second cataract surgery, and I'm waiting for you and David King to return home. Today is also Valentine's Day. Remember our first Valentine's Day? An artist series in our picture was taken in Glide Crawford dorm. Our wedding was so beautiful and special, and to think that was 55 years ago. At that time in my life, I didn't think I could ever love you more. You have always been such a spiritual leader in our home. When the boys were born, you became a terrific, fun father. You have always been such a loving, caring, godly husband and father and grandfather and great-grandfather. And it goes on. I can't read it.
Let me
But
finish it.
What
Let me
a
finish it.
tribute from a husband. But it's because of Jesus. It's all because of Jesus. That's right.
Let me finish. The last 10 years since I have had health challenges, you have been right by my side. Today, I love you more than I could have dreamed as a young girl. I am more in love with you than I ever dreamed possible. Thanks for being the kindest, most loving, most caring, most supportive, most devoted, most godly, best friend a girl could ever have. Thank you for loving me and constantly reminding me that God is in control of today and our future. All of my love, always, Jan, 2013 Valentine's Day.
She suffered with cancer the last 10 years of her life
What a beautiful
and had her leg amputated the last 2 years. And this is when that was written.
Makeup.
Somebody get the wardrobe makeup out
Let me
here.
just say too that she was a believer in the Jewish tradition and how she taught Bible studies on the Jewish tradition and how important it is to bless your marriage, bless your children,
Absolutely.
bless your husband, bless
you.
your wife. Talk to us about those.
She got very fascinated
Letters.
with that, in that the Christian family is not carrying over that blessing that the Jewish people had in the Old Testament, but the Jewish people today are doing it. So I have in this book 17 blessings that she wrote, where you could bless your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, blessing on your job, a blessing on your home, and they're in 5x7 frameable pictures in here, or I have them in 8x10 in color as well. But
You
it's
thought of everything.
Oh, she did. Well, but it's so
Amazing.
important to bless your family,
It is.
Yes.
and most families don't even think about it. Don't even know about it, and that was what bothered her so much, that we as Christians are not taking that tradition and using it.
And she's absolutely right. But one thing, when we went to break, you said that she had 30 qualifications that you had to have met. Well, what were your qualifications?
I only had 2. I was raised by a godly mother, and the other one, I told God, I knew He had somebody picked out for me, because I believe that. I said, God, please don't let her be ugly.
Well,
I said, I don't want to.
the second one was, hey, I wanted a hot chick.
Well, and I did
You
say
gotta
that
be
too.
transparent. Yeah, we know you Methodist, but you gotta say it.
But I want to say one thing. If there's any Christian producers out here, you ought to make a movie of this.
That was a sweet
This
love story.
would be a love
That's the Christian
story.
Notebook.
Yes, that
That's a
is
Christian.
absolutely. It'd
Yes.
be an awesome movie. You need to get it and look at it.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is published by Yawn Publishing Company, who is in Canton, Georgia.
Yeah.
A Christian publishing company, has been just wonderful to deal with.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, well, give us your website where we can find you and find out more about you and Jan.
Website is simply Bob Fraumann at bobfraumann.com. And that's spelled Fraumann, M-A-N-N, 2 N's.
Thank you for sharing your wife with us.
Oh,
you're
yes.
welcome.
And what an
Love it.
amazing tribute to your
Thank
wife
you.
that you've done. So you're a pretty hot dude yourself.
Yeah.
I'm serious. What a
Yes,
cool
awesome.
tribute. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing your time with us. We've had a great day. That was just like a cleansing.
Best book
It
ever.
was. It was a
Best
cleansing.
book
What we love
ever.
a love story. Even
God's
me,
blessed
I know.
angel.
We'll see you next
Awesome.
time.